Hello everyone, my name is Corazar, and welcome back to the Incomplete Guide to Starsector, where we are back after having done a few bounties and we caught ourselves a new ship. And that is sitting right here in our inventory in our fleet here. And I've decided what we're going to do is, since we now have the hull restoration mod, or skill, we are going to be flying around and dragging around with us some of our damaged ships. Now, sure, we have ships up here that need attention too, but I figure in case we run out of D-mods to restore, we should start in on the ships that we keep here at Larch. And that is actually a pretty good amount of them. We have actually a bunch of ships. The Ziggurat is here, our very first ill-fated capital ship is here. We have two Dooms in real rough shape. They both have phase coil instability. Yep, makes them pretty well useless. We have ships galore that need some D-mods removed, and so I figure we're going to drag around extra ones, but we'll leave one slot open in case we come across another ship that we want to bring with us. Now, we can go over 30 ships, but I really don't recommend it because it does real bad things to your everything, your speed, your fuel, your supplies per day, so don't do it. But let's talk here real quick about what I did with the Legion here. I put in 2 wings of broadswords and 2 wings of claws. Broadswords are basically a lot of kinetic damage to take down shields, and claws do a lot of ion damage for shutting down weapons and engines and such. In the ship itself, I've outfitted with a lot of Vulcans on all these smalls. I have hypervelocity drivers in these 2 side, what are these, composite? I forget what kind of slot the missile and ballistic ones are. But basically, yep, so hypervelocity for some kinetic damage. And then in the large slots, a lot of folks like to put in Gauss cannons. But the problem with Legion is that it doesn't have great flux stats. Even with maximum events, it caps out at 1000 flux dissipation. So these Hellbores do 250 flux per second versus the 600 of the Gauss cannons. So with a pair of Gauss cannons, these tend to overflux themselves really fast. But we have basically parity with our weapon flux, and that's including the 160 flux output of our Vulcan cannons, so it's unlikely that we're going to be hitting parity. We'll be just about, maybe just will be just about parity with our total weapons, shooting, and shields up. And then in the front 3 slots, I put a trio of Sabos for giving us some additional shield piercing. So basically, this thing has a lot of anti-shield ability. It has some pretty good EMP with the claws and the hypervelocity drivers. And then with these Hellbores, it just crunches through armor because the Hellbores have basically the highest single attack damage in the game at 750, which means that they are better for punching through armor than pretty much anything else. Now, granted, their DPS isn't super high, but when you're shooting against armor, you actually want per hit damage, not DPS damage. I'm also bringing along our very poor Scarab here just to get rid of the D-mods. Not much to say, I didn't make any changes here. And then I'm bringing along the Pirate Falcon because it's an interesting ship. I don't know how well it does in AI hands, and I would prefer to swap these heavy autocannons for some more proximity charge launchers, but I know the AI gets a bit funky when you don't have some actual targeted weapons like ballistic or energy in some regular slots, i.e. not point defense. So again, we are mostly here to remove D-mods from it, so I'm not going to pull it out in battle generally, unless we need to, and then it comes out and we see how it does. But today we are going to head up to Galatia because I think it has been enough time since we last spoke with our good friend and totally looking out for our own good friend Anahita Baird. What are you doing? Okay. And we are going to push along. Hey, check that out. We lost Compromised Hall from the Telarios. That's you. Neat. And we're going to push along the Galatia Academy quests and see if we can't get some gate action going on here, because that, as she has said, is her goal. She wants to bring back or reopen the gates that used to connect the domain locations and points of interest to each other. And she thinks that we can use these gates to at least get around this sector, if not back to the domain. Let's go see what she has to say. Hello, Pontus. Okay. As we follow the automated traffic control signals into a parking orbit, our comms officer calls for your attention. Captain, I have an Academician Sebastian on link. He says it's urgent. Put him on. Sebastian appears looking anxious, which is not unusual. Captain Corazar, whoever I just spoke with, well, there's something to be said for common courtesy and, I should say, hello. I hope you're well. Before he can answer, he continues, I apologize, but Provost Baird wants to meet with you, and it's, important. That is to say, this pertains to your previous involvement in a study at the Galatia Academy? He pauses for a moment to let this sink in. So, do please come to meet with the Provost at your earliest convenience. Thank you, Captain. Sebastian shuts off the comms without his usual attempts at small talk. Okay. We will inform the agent the Provost is expecting us for a meeting. You enter the Provost Baird's office, and the thick wooden doors close softly behind you. Captain, Baird says, turning to you from her desk. Good. Sit. We have much to discuss. Going by past experience, you feel that this will be more of a lecture than a discussion. Let's sit down and get comfy. We've rebuilt the theoretical work held in the Galatia archive. Academician Coruz's research now supersedes those developments. The mote induction device from the Project Ziggurat hull you discovered and scanned was key, for it demonstrates truly unorthodox hyperphysics. Tritachion's use of AI has made a breakthrough, though I suspect that the human element of Tritachion has only rudimentary theoretical understanding of what they've created. We are ahead of them in that respect, Captain, so it shall be we who reap the ultimate prize. However, our hands are tied. Baird looks up as if defying some overbearing god. Thomas Calichor played Tritachion and Hegemony off each other. It was a delicate balance, and he lost control. The Hegemony was forced to act, and I was forced to step forward to clean up his mess. It is clear that a side had to be chosen, so I have chosen the Hegemony. They are a known quantity, whereas Tritachion is mercurial, and their indiscreet abuse of AI core technology threatens to open Pandora's box for a third time. To this end, I must assure High Hegemon Daud that the Galatia Academy has his interests in mind as we push toward the next breakthrough. I need you to make direct contact with the top executive of the Hegemony. Presumably, we can reassert most of the terms of the agreement Provost Thomas Calichor had previously promised and subsequently failed to deliver to High Hegemon Daud. Is the Provost gritting her teeth? Additional provisions and information sharing due to Calichor's squandering of that trust. Daud needs to know that there won't be any more dramatic, destructive public experiments on his watch. So I go to Chico Mostok and ask to see the High Hegemon? Of course not, Baird says curtly. The High Hegemon does not simply speak with the people like you. Besides, imagine what Ludix would think if you went to Daud's office saying the Galatia Academy wants to talk to you about firing up Moloch's grand experiment again. He'd be a fool to rattle that hornet's nest of small-minded millennialists. I'm kind of surprised that hornets still exist in this day and age and location, but okay. What you're going to do is get diplomatic credentials from a highly placed Persean League VIP. Your cover story is that you're acting as an envoy between the Yarabe faction of Kazaron and the Hegemony. What is this faction? A major player in Persean League internal politics. Gens Yarabe is one of the big three Kazaron dynastic family corporations, and they favor let's call it a compromise, which would see the Persean League unite with the Hegemony. Baird removes her spectacles for a moment. League Hegemony reconciliation. She shakes her head incredulously. What is important is that the Hegemony and the Church will accept an envoy bearing Yarabe diplomatic credentials having a private talk with High Hegemon Daud. Why would he help me? Or you? Baird smiles coolly. Horus Yarabe's eldest attends the Galatia Academy. There was an incident. There usually are when the children of unimaginable wealth go out into the world. They are unaccustomed to boundaries. Imagine the shame. The scion of Gens Yarabe facing expulsion, she says the provost. Unthinkable. It'd be a bigger scandal than that Cato child trying to play revolution on Umbra. I'll provide you with a message for Horus Yarabe. Tell him we want to use him as cover to whisper in High Hegemon Daud's ear. Horus also wants his eldest child to graduate with distinction from this prestigious academy. Baird holds her hands up in mock innocence. Whatever is to be done? Get credentials from Yarabe, talk to the Hegemon. Got it. Go to Kazarn in the Thule system, Baird says. Remind Horus Yarabe of how we stand. When you meet with High Hegemon Daud, tell him that the rewards of the Galatia Academy's research will be exclusive this time. I'll provide you the documents to give him. The provost turns from you to look out the diamond matrix windows of her office. Once the High Hegemon's corporation is settled, we can proceed to the active experimentation stage. You can tell she's smiling now, as if she can't help herself. Caruza's team is putting the finishing touches on a gate scanner. We'll need more data, and we need you to collect it. Go and speak with her about this. Do whatever she requires. Okay. Let's go and talk to Scylla Caruz. The comm image stabilizes on Caruz in her laboratory office, surrounded by holographic projections of data tables. Oh, she says, looking up. Captain Corazar. Yes, Provost Baird said I'm to fill you in on the new development. She sweeps away several displays worth of work. Arcane glyphs and diagrams collapse into unobtrusive icons. Minimize. First, she says, this is a prototype device. I told the Provost that we're only partway through the test procedures. We've been using the Galatia Gate as a test case, but I suppose if we make ongoing calibrations and update the firmware via hypercom... Charisma mumbles to herself as she starts tapping out a new checklist. What exactly is it you want me to do? She looks abashed. I'm not doing a very good job at this, am I? Teaching was never... sorry, let me answer your question. Caruz takes a breath, centering herself. This prototype can interact with the gate manifold itself. It is my supposition that the gate network is not so much collapsed as it is folded up. It's there, but inaccessible. Maybe. We'll need to test certain properties, and she looks at an ancillary display, catches herself, and turns back to you. It was your scan of the moat induction device from the ziggurat hall that opened the door. It showed us things. Her voice rises with excitement. Unimaginable things. Or, she catches her enthusiasm with a skeptical look, what it shows was highly improbable within the current body of accepted theory. There are entirely new subfields of hyperspace physics out there, in there, whatever, just waiting for first observation. Okay, calm down. I need to know how to carry out the mission. Right, of course. We're transferring the gate scanner to your fleet now. I'll give you the rundown on the operation. She pulls up a new shared holo display, a wireframe depiction of Domain Nera Gate. An icon standing off about 3 diameters from the ring itself seems to represent your flagship. You recognize a diffuse bubble around it as the influenza drive field. Looks simple enough. You have to be stationed fairly close to the gate, and you must ensure that there are no other active drive fields within the gate diameter itself. She focuses back on the display. Once you're in place, execute the pre-coded instructions. The data will encrypt itself and be sent back to me when you're in range of a hypercom relay. We'll need to calibrate the hyperdimensional transform, of course, so you'll need to scan 6 different gates. We've already scanned the Galatia Gate, so it has to be 6 other gates. Then comes the next step. The next step? Provost Baird said I shouldn't talk about it, Caruz says. But seeing as you're in the line of fire... Without thinking, she glances away, then speaks quietly. We've been calling it the Janus device. It's premature to name it, I admit, but when the hyperphysics team gets excited... She shrugs helplessly. There's no stopping them. It's just... She notices a blinking display. The equipment transfer is complete, Captain. You're good to go. What was that you were saying? She sighs unhappily. She looks more tired than you've ever seen. The team is eager and I appreciate their work, but my strength is theory, not hardware applications. It's all so clumsy. And our fabrication equipment. The techs try their best, but the provost expects the world and more. She wants to push the schedule faster. It's simply too fast. I need time to refine the math, to run more equipment tests, to get top-of-the-line components. She stifles a yawn, and to get some sleep. She looks away. If Alyssa was here, this would all be so simple. Who is this? Someone I know. Knew. A friend, or... Anyway, her name is Alyssa Zal. We did work together a long time ago. She's a genius with hardware, but I made some mistakes, and Karuz trails off, realizing that she doesn't want to continue. One of her many displays pops up an alert, which chimes urgently. Karuz snaps out of it and dismisses the alert. Sorry, Captain, I need to get back to work. We put together a new hyperwave rig. They're waiting for me in the test chamber. Good luck. Okay. So, it is now up to us to head over to a couple places. We need to go to Kazaron, here in Tuli. We also need to go and stop by a few gates. Now, we have come across a few of these. Let's see, there's actually here we go, a filter. There are many gates scattered through the core worlds, and we can go visit some of them and scan them. However, there is a chance that they may be patrolled by a friendly or an enemy fleet. And so we may need to chase them away, or convince them to go, or pay them off. So let's go pick a couple, and we'll probably do that first, because it's kind of on the way. So let's head down to, say, Samara. Pop down here, and let's see what we can do. Okay, here we are at the Samara gate, and luckily, this one has nobody orbiting it, so we are free to just come up right up here, and give a knock on the door, and we have a silent ring of adamantine material, derelict of a former age. Your sensors officer nods to your cue. Your command interface lights up, execute scan, blinks expectantly. The gate awaits, as cold as a tomb. We'll scan the gate. Your command display is overlaid with a representation of the hyperspace manifold surrounding the gate. It is calm and cool, devoid of drive wakes. As the scan begins, you watch a line of disruption flare between the icon representing your flagship and the icon representing the gate. Spirals and ripples spill out in non-Newtonian waves, surging from a point at the center of the gate. No, it's not a point. A circle, a sphere, a torus, and inverted funnel. Then some other form that makes you squeeze your eyes shut. You hear faint music from far away. Captain? Your sensors officer is looking at you. The scan is complete. You realize it's the second time they said this, and you gesture as if you were simply lost in thought. We can fly through it, but still, nothing happens. Okay, let's go find a few more gates to scan. Let's head up to... Or we could do this. Here we go. So there's an active gate here. If you go to gates outside the core worlds, you're not going to find friendlies orbiting it usually. There might be pirates, but I think they're typically kind of rare outside the core worlds. Let's go here. Okay, folks, so here we have a hegemony fleet hanging out by the gate. Hello, Special Task Force. Now, we can, if we want to, say hello. We'll take the comm request. I'm going to pause and read that. The hegemony commander appears before you. Citizens, she barks. This is a special naval operations zone. Stay clear or you'll be fired upon. Let's say your operation will fail without my help. Excuse me, citizen? You sense Commander Amazone's reaching for the disconnect button. I know about the gate scans. She blinks. I cannot confirm or deny any speculation concerning the nature of this confidential operation. Explain that you're scanning the gates as well. You summarize the story of the gate research from Thomas Calator's failed Galatia experiment onward, leaving out inconvenient details about your own involvement. You speak of Tritachion's secret research and the High Hegemon's tacit approval of the Galatia Academy resuming the project. The Hegemony Commander's face freezes as you speak and remains unnaturally still, you sense, through sheer effort of will. Interesting story, Captain, she blinks rapidly. What is your point in telling it? So here we can either spend a story point, of which I'm getting kind of low, or we can just say never mind. I think in this case, we will go ahead and use the story point because we do get 100% XP, which means it will double our XP until we recover effectively one full story point's worth of XP. Let's go ahead and do it. So your scan won't work. Mine will. I'll do the scan and give you my data. There's a very long pause. There exist provisions to integrate non-naval forces into a hegemony operation on an ad hoc basis, if conditions deem it absolutely necessary to achieve strategic goals. Another pause. High Hegemon Baikal Daud opened the armories to civilian fleets during the siege of Chickamauga, and more quietly, and then roused antics of Ratatosk. The Hegemony commander winks, then nails you with a stern look. Captain, I'm officially activating you as an auxiliary asset in this operation. Auxiliary? Sure, yeah, whatever. Regular forces will withdraw to a safe distance. Then I am ordering you to perform your scan of this gate. Upon completion, you'll transmit your data to my flagship. She stands a little straighter. Are my orders understood, Captain Corazar? I'll carry them out immediately. Mommy. Commander. Then the mission is a go. Please proceed, Captain, says the Hegemony commander with a little smile, and cuts the comm. So we will leave them. And then we can turn around slowly. Thank you, Legion, for being slow. We'll do the gate. Scan the gate. Once again, we hear faint music. And then we will leave. And we did transmit it to the Gemini fleet. I don't think this does anything at this point. Again, this is still an early access game, and there are many incomplete aspects. I have not seen any change in the story or reactions from Hegemony or any other faction based on sending this to them. Now, I could be wrong, or I might just not have happened across whatever interaction occurs, but to my knowledge, it does not. So let's go to the next place. We can just do Corvus. Easy peasy. Let's do it. Okay, folks, we're here. I'm going to stop here in Jangala because last time I was looking at my stuff, they needed some luxury goods. Yes. Get that out of my hold. Not a ton, but I'll take it. I'll take some of you too. Okay, off to the gate. Ooh, after we talk to the general who wants to sell us. Nah. No thanks. And there aren't no officers, so away we go. Oh, hello. Really now? Well, Starport just should take care of them lickety-split. So, what have we here? We have a completely undefended gate. Oh, the pirate fleet that's over here. Are you kidding me? Okay, well, I guess we'll go and help out this effort over here. Just take this, whoops. Apparently we'll just leave everything. Yeah, whatever. Take their junk. Take that, and we are going to zap them so that they do not bother us. Oh, really? What do they want? You want the gate, huh? They want 10,000 credits. Yeah, no. Wait, they're actually fighting us with this Garbo? Okay. Alright, we're going to take me and you. Alright, guys. So this does happen occasionally, where story ships or story fleets don't really quite recognize what's going on and that they really shouldn't tangle with you. But whatever. Bye. It's too funny. Love it. Okay. And there we go. Pick these few bones here. I always take free stuff. Alright, let's go scan this gate now for reals. So normally that pirate fleet should have stayed around the gate here, but I think because Jangala got so close, they got distracted. So, very silly, but there you have it. Okay, so we need to go up to Thule, but we want to scan a couple gates along the way. So let's drop over to... Let's do Magic, Aeos Exodus, and then Chimerian, and see how that goes. Let's go here. Show you on map. No. There you are. All right. And here we go. We have another fleet. He probably wants us to give them stuff. So let's pause and take a look at this. What have we got going on here? We have a Tritachyon fleet, most likely. With an Astral, which we don't have one of those yet. Now, we are still Tritachyon employed, so we don't want to mess with these guys, unfortunately. Hello, I would like to have you move clear of the gate. What are you doing out here? I'm not going to read all of this. So this time we can buy the gate's scan data, which is fine. 23k. That's not too bad. We'll do it. And there we go. All done. Let's move on to the next one, which is going to be Aeos Exodus. Right there. Okay, so here I see that there is already a fleet here, and it looks pretty dinky. All they have is this one big ship. So I'm going to turn that off, honestly. And we are going to see if they saw who we were. Okay. So they do know who we are, unfortunately. Okay. That's a shame. I was going to blow them out of the water. Hello, guys. Blessed Kurazar, may the light of Lud guide you always. Thanks to your assistance, we are continuing our holy vigil. I'm sure the prophet returned will come soon, he says, and smiles radiantly. As a servant of the faith, I have a proposal. Perhaps you explain that in the spirit of charity, you, with assistance from the Ludic Deacon Captain, of course, could perform a safety scan upon this gate using a device you have on your flagship. You propose that it could be considered a ritual of cleansing. This would also provide his followers an opportunity to make repairs to their faltering ships. The prophet returned would not want this flock to be lost to hull breaches and life support failure, surely. So we are offering to hold vigil from my flagship while your flock makes repairs nearby. Wow, more story points. Oof. Man. Let's do it. See if we actually get some rep with Athletic. Hey, a little bit. Yeah, that's fine. Alright. So they should move away at this point. Should, I said. Okay, scan the gate. There we go. And then we have one more to do, so let's pop up to, or is it Kamari Kandam? Here we go. We'll go here, and I'm going to bet that there are pathers here waiting for us to show up. Because, of course, all of a sudden everyone has an interest in these gates. Ooh, we need to turn a transponder on there. Let's go blow some pathers out of the water. Oh, that wasn't good. Oh well. Let's see if there's anybody waiting for us up here. Yeah, there is. Oh, there's something waiting for us here. Oh. It's a free apogee. What? What is there an apogee doing here? I mean, sure. I'll take it. Nice little ship. Okay, I was fully expecting pathers, but here we go. We got our gate scans done. And now all we need to do is go and talk to... Well, we're going to go to Kazron and talk to Horus Yarabe, and then over to High Hegemon Daud. I hear he's not particularly dowdy, though. Bump. There's a gate here, too. We haven't been here before. Interesting. Uh-oh. Why are we being tracked, though? We shouldn't be. Why are we hot? That's weird. Oh, okay. Well, they don't like us, apparently. Oh, because we're at war with them, aren't we? Yeah. Oh, well. Hey, Yarabe. So, we contact Horus Yarabe. Yes, do I know you? Horus Yarabe asks impatiently, his attention clearly elsewhere. Have we business? We explain what's going on. Provost... Oh. His face falls. This must be about... I mean, tell me, whatever is this about? You've got his attention now. The Provost has a message, if you're ready to hear it. He thinks about it. That look of resignation you've come to know from those being blackmailed by the Provost comes across his face, and you know it's already worked. Send it, he says softly, defeated. We send the message. The comm line clicks to a holding pattern displaying the ornate crest of Gen Zierbe. You watch Kazron commodity features scroll through the bottom of the display. After a couple minutes catching up on bulk non-ferrous projections, the comm relay chimes. Horus reappears, looking somewhat more collected. Captain Corazar, was it? Yes, of course. Provost Baird explained her proposal, and I do believe that we may arrive at a mutually beneficial arrangement. I shall see that you receive Yerbe diplomatic credentials. Mind yourself well with these, Captain. If you were to commit some untoward scheme using the good name of Gen Zierbe, we would declare the cryptic key stolen. And then, well, it need not be said that any decent authority would treat you appropriately. He clears his throat, keen to move on from the topic. Of course, you have nothing to worry about. Naturally, he glances about uncomfortably. I trust Baird's good judgment, of course. Now I know not what ruse the good Provost is pursuing, but if indeed you establish a line of communication directly and privately to the High Hegemon, a small smile appears in Nierbe's face, that would be splendid. For my half of this arrangement requires the delivery of common encryption codes to our friend Baikal Daud. One mustn't have comment snooping on important negotiations, yes? So do see that done. Do you really believe the League can reconcile with the hegemony? Assimilation of the League worlds is hegemony policy and an obvious condition of their reconstruction of the domain, to say nothing of the foundation of their legitimacy. He looks to the side, and you get the sense that he is repeating an argument he has made many times before. Publicly, the hegemony's demand is unconditional. How can they ask that after Maya Sora? They must compromise. But I understand their position. They maintain a hard face to buoy support from the masses and lower officers, and, he shakes his head once, the Ludic Church, in its way. The top leaders of the hegemony, particularly High Hegemon Baikal Daud, must see things more clearly than they let on. They understand that they must hold the banner high and speak of iron resolve to the bloody end, right up until the moment they can present their people with a great victory. Peaceful reconciliation. A victory without war, imagine. He suddenly looks self-conscious. I apologize, Captain. My eldest just tell me that I have a way of carrying on. It is not untrue. I'm going to be off. So I think we could, in theory, turn this off and actually dock here. No, they're tracking us, so not much point. Let's be off, and we will head over to Chickamaustock. Okay, folks, we are here. I'm actually going to do a repair, visit the bar, check out this, and buy some fuel. Probably should have stopped in Cindria, but that's okay. Ooh, and some of these. Let's get like 1,000. Yep. We haven't gotten paid in a little while, so this is getting a bit expensive, isn't it? Let's go open the comm directory and talk to Baikal Daud. After an interminable time watching a hegemony logo, the comm link connects you with what appears to be a junior cadet. You suspect they haven't even graduated from the Naval Academy. Hello, citizen, the cadet chirps at you brightly. You've reached the office of the High Hegemon. Tour bookings of the Hegemon Council campus are currently unavailable. If you'd like to know more about how you can assist the restoration of the domain, please accept the informational packet upload now. I'd like to meet the High Hegemon. I'm sorry, but the High Hegemon is unavailable, the cadet smiles blandly. I'm an envoy from Gen Zierbe of Kazaron, transmitting credentials now. The state change across the cadet's face as they realize you aren't some tourist is instantaneous. Affirmative, sir. The tone is military crisp now. Received and thank you, sir. I will confirm with OPSCOM. An officer will speak to you shortly. Please maintain link. This comes out. The display flickers back to the crest of the Gemini. In moments, the crest disappears and you speak with a real officer, some kind of secretary to the High Hegemon, who verifies your credentials and schedules you for a brief face-to-face meeting with Baikal Daud. Captain Corazar, I see. Yes, we can fit you in. The High Hegemon is a very busy man, but he has expressed an interest in your matter. Please forgive the ad hoc arrangement. I assure you that it is necessary. Before you know it, you have a time, a place, and a visitor passkey to present. A public map database search confirms that you have been asked to arrive at some kind of naval shipyard in the orbit of Chickamaustock. The officer secretary did not take time to explain the purpose of meeting at this odd venue. Alright. Let's see, do we have to undock, I think? Or go to the world? Ah, there we go, okay. So you should have to click on the planet for this one. You can't stop at the station, not really sure why. Let's go and shuttle to meet the High Hegemon. Your shuttle approaches the naval shipyard in Chickamaustock orbit. The planet spins below you like a murky brown ocean. A hegemony patrol pings your shuttle as the superstructure of the naval dockyard grows like the ribs of some gene-mod leviathan. The visitor passkey satisfies the patrol's inquiry, and they maneuver toward the next transport on approach. The landing base still bears the faded logo of of Belai Astra Group, a domain-era manufacturer of heavy weapons and a key supplier to the 200th Legion. It looks like a post-collapse fragment of the corporation has taken over this asset and now contracts exclusively to the Hegemony Navy. Let's dock at the shipyard. The bay is crowded with transports, military and civilian. Some high roller has even landed a shimmering O-type kite, much to the annoyance of the ground crews. A young ensign checks your pass with their datapad, then leads you and your bodyguards past the crowd of civilian officials and media drones. You arrive at a checkpoint, still setting up for civilian access. The ensign indicates your guards. They will have to wait here, and, Captain, sir, you'll have to leave your sidearm with our armorer. We'll hand it over. The armorer hands it over to another man, not in uniform. You look him over, the military bearing subtle cybernetic augments, combat-related rated civilian clothes. Rivas, the High Hegemon Daud's chief of security, the ensign tells you. The chief of security examines your sidearm as if it were his own. With light touch, he removes the cell mag and passes it to the armorer. He returns your unloaded weapon to you. Captain, he says, and with a word gives you permission to reholster your sidearm. Rivas turns to the ensign and says, I shall escort the captain to see the High Hegemon. The ensign begins to salute, but catches himself. Rivas is not military, at least not now, then simply nods, Sir, before turning back to the landing bay. We'll follow him. He leads us past a half-dozen checkpoints set through the guts of the shipyard. At each checkpoint, you both submit to a flicker of biometric scan, then a guard nods to Rivas and allows you both passage. Finally, you enter a utilitarian vestibule. Emergency vac suit lockers, fire suppression equipment, and safety notices line the walls. A diamond matrix pane separates this compartment from the enclosed space dock visible beyond. A perfect new eco-class hull looms, and a gantry hangs toward its bow, festooned with ribbons and a hegemony banner. Rivas steps to the side, his bulk revealing High Hegemon Baikal Daud sitting on a simple folding stool, his splendid uniform coat hanging from a rack, fussed over by a stylist and an advisor. Daud looks at you impassively, then, without breaking eye contact, commands his entourage. Give us the room. 5 minutes. They leave, Rivas following after, meeting your eyes one last time. High Hegemon Daud. Captain Corazar, he says, and stands, indeed a smaller man than you expected. His voice holds a deep authority, however, and though you've heard it in holocasts with just a few words in person, you can feel why and how he leads the hegemony. Daud taps the datapad, activating a privacy field that dulls the ambient murmur of the shipyard's ventilation. How's Provost Anahita Barrett's project going, he asks. Bridged any gates? Working on it. I know, he says, and lifts a bottle of spirits out from a small box. Baiju from Eventide. It looks expensive. This is for the newest member of the Hegemony Navy, Eagle Class. After I crack this over hull 0451, it'll become the Enduring Hope. How's that for a name? He pauses, waiting for your answer. Laying on a bit thick, isn't it? Possibly, he says with a frown. The name is for the hegemony. All the people, you know. The propaganda ministry has a list of these things. It's not really intended for you, Daud considers. Or me. And yet... He reverses and hefts the bottle like a practice swing. Here's to hope, he says ironically. Daud sets the bottle down. You're here to tell me our new provost wants to renew the old deal. She'll have to make additional concessions, isn't that right? I suppose you want to bribe me with the details. He taps his datapad, opening a channel for you to upload the relevant material they're provided. We'll upload. As you complete the connection with your datapad, Daud speaks. What we did at Calator was justice. He risked the entire Galatia system, hundreds of thousands of citizens. That might be just one subsector of just one metroplex down there. He waves vaguely in the direction of Chickamaustock. But, his voice hardens, I will not allow any grand experiments that endangers these people. I expect Baird realizes that any misstep will be met with the overwhelming force of the Hegemony Navy. She's not stupid, he says thoughtfully, looking at the cruiser through a diamond matrix pane. But ambition can make a fool of anyone. He turns fully toward you. Do you trust Baird? Nope. Good, he says simply. I am of similar mind. Nonetheless, he puts a hand to his chest. Here too am I, entertaining her envoy. Tell Baird I accept, he says. She'll be receiving additional demands. She won't like them. She will accept. He turns, pacing. The gates are the question behind the entire hegemony, are they not? Is the domain out there waiting to reward those who kept faith, blindly loyal for generations? He stops. Or was there some grand catastrophe, and nothing awaits us but ruins and the dead? Or will monsters from Blood's-own nightmares pour out to devour us all, unless we are armed and steadfast, ready to meet their threat? Captain, I need to know if we are history's fools or heroes. Not few among my comrades would say it is disloyal, even cowardly to ask the question. He faces you. I think it is cowardly not to. All my busy helpers will be back in a moment, so make it quick. Did that Yerbe blue blood want anything important? Let's see. He gave me cryptic keys to pass to you. I'll listen to what he has to say, Daud says, and offers his datapad. You upload the cryptic keys. I trust the Yerbes to do what is best for the Yerbes, he says, tapping at the datapad to accept your upload. Maybe that'll be enough. He looks over hull 0451, or maybe it won't. I want to put in a good word for him. Of course he does. Genzirabe is only a minor stakeholder in the shipyards of Kazran and holds major cross-faction investments. He smiles coolly. But I will take the good word of Baird's knee-breaker under advisement. Daud glanced at his datapad. You've got 20 seconds, Captain. Any last words? So we haven't had any AI inspectors, but I do wonder if we can do anything about that. Not negotiable, Daud says icily. I've been out there. You've seen what happened twice. It won't happen again. He taps the datapad, dropping the privacy field. As if on cue, the High Hegemon's small entourage returns with a babble of worries over how he'll look on the holocast, the need to review talking points for the speech, and his uniform. Security Chief Rivas Loons corralling you from the gantry utility room and back through the security checkpoints to your shuttle. And that, I think, is where we're going to leave it, because we have been reading, and my mouth is very, very dry. So, I think in the next episode, we will finish out this quest, this sort of game-long quest to take us to the end of potentially activating these gates, and we'll see what we can do with them. I'm going to spend a little bit of time flitting about between episodes, getting some more fuel because we are low, and probably trying to get a little bit of cash going because we're just bleeding money while we fly around carrying all this junk with us. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you enjoyed the really serious story reading. And as always, my name is Hazem Kurazar. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.